Toyota was one of the earliest adopters of hybrid technology, bringing it squarely into the mainstream. With this in mind, you'd expect them to lead the way for fully electric vehicles, but curiously, that has not been the case. It took them until 2023 to finally debut the first Toyota EV, and here it is, the bZ4X. Before we get into this review, do us a favor, hit those like and subscribe buttons below to get all of our latest reviews. The 2023 Toyota bZ4X is a joint venture with Subaru, and much like its GR86 and BRZ twin sport coupes that they share, it looks very similar to the Solterra, and pricing is also comparable. In terms of size, it's similar to the RAV4 compact SUV. As far as styling goes, I like it. The sharp beveled creases give it a futuristic look, and these narrow headlight strips add to the cyberpunk feel. I don't mind these darker body fenders as much as I did when I first saw images of the car, though I get how some might feel as though it looks like it left the paint shop a little unfinished. I suppose if you're really opposed to them, you could just get the car in black, or you could try to get a vinyl wrap to match. But what do you think? Do you like the bZ4X's styling and its dark fenders? Let us know in the comments below. In the floor of this front-wheel drive bZ4X is a 71.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack. All-wheel drive models get a slightly larger 72.8 kilowatt-hour battery. The front-wheel drive base XLE trim is the range leader at 252 miles on a full charge. All-wheel drive drops that to 228 miles. If you step up to the limited trim, the estimates drop slightly because of the larger wheels and slightly heavier weight. The front drive is estimated at 242 miles, while the all-wheel drive is estimated at 222 miles. In reality, it's difficult to match those estimates, so you should give yourself a 15 or 20 mile buffer zone on a road trip. All models are DC fast charge capable, though there are some differences in charge rates. The front drive models can charge at 150 kilowatt rate, which should get you from 10% to 80 in about 30 minutes. The all-wheel drive models get a different battery that is limited to 100 kilowatts, which should take more than an hour to get to the same charge, which isn't great. That means the bZ4X isn't much of a road trip car, but it should do just fine for city-bound drivers, so let's see how it drives. The bZ4X gets up to speed just fine and should hit 60 in about 7.5 seconds. And it's very smooth, as expected. The thing is though, these low rolling resistance tires really struggle with grip, especially if you need to get out of the way fairly quickly. That means you're probably going to be spinning your wheels just a little bit when you're just starting off. The all-wheel drive version likely won't suffer with these problems. For those new to EVs, it should be easy to adapt to the bZ4X. It drives much like a conventional SUV, though you can adjust the amount of regenerative braking with this button right here. It gives you a lot more deceleration when you lift your foot off the pedal, but it won't bring you to a full stop like true one-pedal driving does, but it comes close. Handling is adequate. It's not what I'd consider sporty, especially when you think about how little grip there is with these tires. But on a twisty road like this, it doesn't feel out of sorts. And one thing I am noticing is a low-frequency rumble that early EVs exhibited. It's not so loud as to be intrusive, but other new EVs have overcome this problem. The ride quality is decently smooth, but you still get some jostling and feel moderate bumps in the road. As far as visibility goes, it's actually pretty good. This front roof pillar here really doesn't get in my way through left turns, and I have a good view at the back too. Well, that about wraps up my impression from behind the wheel, so let's pull over and talk about the interior. The interior layout is pretty unique, and I like where Toyota's going with it. This instrument panel here is far forward and gives a complete view of what's on the screen. It's also pretty high up, almost like a head-up display, so it's kind of right in the driver's sightlines. There are a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, but after some time it's pretty easy to get acclimated to them. All models come standard with this large 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a wireless charging pad. I'm not so sure about this plastic lid on the charging pad because it kind of encourages me to forget my phone in the car, but having wireless phone integration and a wireless charger is always a plus in my book. The center console has a lot of this shiny piano black, and it does tend to attract dust and fingerprints, but at least while I'm driving, I haven't experienced any sharp glare coming off of it. The center console also has some hard plastics here, which tend to make it feel a little less refined. Interior storage is adequate with this large tray underneath, moderately sized cup holders, and this large center armrest bin right here. The door pockets, well, they're about average, and you can squeeze 2 water bottles in there easily. The front seats are generously padded for lots of comfort, and the ventilation keeps you feeling fresh all day. There is something weird with the lumbar support. It kind of feels like a fist in my spine rather than kind of a nice wide pad. So that's something to maybe keep in mind if you really like a lot of lumbar support. Well, that does it for the front seat, so let's check out the back. On paper, the bZ4X has less headroom and legroom than rivals, but as you can see, I have plenty of space back here. I'm 5'10", sitting behind the driver's seat, which is set for me. And yeah, I might be getting close to the limit of headroom here, which means you should probably put 6-footers up front. You also get heated outboard seats and 2 USB chargers, so you can keep all your devices juiced up. Behind the rear seats, the bZ4X can hold up to 27.7 cubic feet. That's about average for the class. It's a wide space, and there's even a little bin underneath for your charge cables. In this top limited trim, you also get a hands-free power liftgate. Towing capacity maxes out at 4,400 pounds, but considering its short range, it's probably not the best tow vehicle. Prices for the bZ4X start around $43,000 and rise to about $48,000 for this limited trim. That's in line with the Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, and Volkswagen ID4, but those rivals do get more range. The Hyundai and Kia will get you past 300 miles, while the VW is estimated at 275 miles. The specs say I should be getting 242 miles on a charge, but honestly, I think it's a stretch to even get to 200, and that's in normal driving. And that's the bZ4X's biggest drawback. I've had more range anxiety in this car than I have in many years. If you're just commuting, that should be more than enough, but then again, you can get more of almost everything with its rivals. Toyota sweetens the deal with a year of free charging on the EVgo network, but considering its longer charge times, that's not that much of a bonus. And that's really too bad because it's an otherwise decent EV that looks sharp inside and out. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Is 200 miles enough range for you? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below, and we'll see you in the next review.